Chiropractic, Dr. James Palmer. Good morning.
How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How about you guys?
Really well.
That's awesome. Thanks for having me on.
I know.
Morning.
It's been a while.
It has been a while.
What's new and exciting in your world?
New and exciting. Well, actually, we started a chiropractic nonprofit recently.
Really?
So, yeah. So it's not quite ready to start accepting patients quite yet. We're still laying down the infrastructure to get that going, but it'll be ready probably in about the fall. So we're excited about that.
That's cool. So allowing people to get some care who necessarily probably can't afford it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a branch of a national nonprofit called Hands for Life. So we'll be known as Hands for Life Jackson, and but we'll be able to help with like you said, some of the people who can't afford care, as well as still helping with the for-profit business as well. So we're really excited about that.
Do you find that there are those that just don't understand or know what chiropractic care is?
Yeah, typically we're thought of as neck pain, headache, back pain doctors, but really chiropractic is so much more than that. Your nervous system controls everything in your body. It makes your heart beat, lungs breathe. It tells you when you're hungry to digest that food, takes the nutrients from that food, lets you know when to get rid of it. Mm-hmm. It keeps you alive at night while you sleep. It heals cuts on your arm. Like, you've never told your body to do any of these things, right? But yet it does it because your nervous system carries out those functions. And so, as I mentioned, we're thought of as pain doctors, but less than 10% of your nervous system is for pain.
Isn't that amazing?
Less than 10%. The 90+% of your nervous system is for the functions in your body that you've never told your body to do and carry out. And so,
who should get adjusted? And then let me at what age?
Yeah, good question. So, I love dentistry. I often relate chiropractic to dentistry. And so, it's like, when should you start brushing your teeth? Well, when you get them. You know what I mean? And so that's part of why I love taking care of pregnant mothers, is because I get to affect the baby's health at the same time that I affect the mother's health.
Right.
And also help her with the ease of that pregnancy. And so, children, often the first things that are wrong with them is they have problems latching and suckling, and they often will have problems pooping or sleeping. And so we always check the top and the bottom of the spine first. And the earlier the better. It's kind of like if you lived here but worked out of town and your car was out of alignment and you just said, I'm just going to drive and I'm just going to go. It's like the sooner you get that taken care of, the better idea it is.
Seeing these pictures of you with these kids, tell me a little bit about some circumstances where you're able to help and really kind of change way of life for some of these kids.
So I tell a story in my doctor's report with my new patients of a 4-year-old girl named Sophia. And Sophia came to our office not because of pain. She actually came in because her grandmother and grandfather are under care and started to get results in our office after they had exhausted all other options medically. And one day she spoke up and said, hey, my granddaughter has problems using the bathroom or wetting herself. And I said, yeah, it's pretty common for a 4-year-old to wet at night. And she said, well, she does that too, but if she's at school and gets the urge to use the restroom and doesn't go, she'll wet herself in front of everybody. And so I said, well, the only thing I know is the nerves in the low back, they go to the nerve or the organs in that area, your bladder and everything. I said, bring her in, let's do an exam. We x-rayed her and she had a curve in her spine, and we started to adjust her and she began to improve. And so it, again, it's something that she wasn't there for pain, she was there for a functional problem.
Right.
And had improved with that.
We have some JTV viewers that have joined you as patients. So I want to say thanks and good morning, Nancy. I know you're watching me this morning, and thanks for putting the pressure on me. I'm glad you're here. Andy, you should go in. You're getting out of that Mustang kind of funny.
Oh my gosh, I know. Yeah, that's not for me. We were traveling and our rental car was a Mustang, and I almost fell every time I was getting out of that thing.
Yeah.
The way we drive and the way we have our seat, does that impact us?
100%. Absolutely. I was going to say, it sounded like you were, man, you almost, like you said, you had to fall to get in and out of that
Absolutely,
car.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a patient who actually bought a new vehicle because he realized the same thing. He was driving a Cadillac, and he would notice that every time he had to twist his body to get out of the vehicle, it would mess up his low back. He was having to come in multiple times a week. He said, same thing. He said, do you think this is starting to, and I starting to mess my back? I said, yeah, it could be. And he rented a vehicle and experimented with it, and actually ended up buying, like I said, a truck so that he didn't have to make that low in and out.
Speaking of the car seats, I just started using on long trips that lumbar feature. I'd never used it or needed it before. Is that a sign of me getting older?
Yeah, no. I always tell my patients, I say, it takes more effort the older you get to stay the same.
Yeah.
And so you're right. The older you get, your spine needs more support and more care because your spine will degenerate up to 7% per year with no maintenance on it. So,
I saw a headline that says slouching might not be bad for you after all.
I think that's clickbait.
Yeah, it might be because sitting's the new smoking.
Ah.
Yeah. Don't spit on me.
I haven't heard that one before. That's good. That is good. Well, thank you so much for being with us.
Again, thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, awesome. Dr. James Palmer from Palmer Family Chiropractic. More of the show right after this quick break.